everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is April if you're new here, and today I want to talk to you about books with anxiety rep in them. If you do not know, hi, I'm April and I have anxiety. I was diagnosed several years ago. It's gotten a lot better in recent years because I have had a wonderful support system between my doctors, my family, and my own self. But every time I read anxiety in books, I have two reactions. One, either I can't read this because it feels too real, or number two, I love it because I feel seen. Either of those two happen, and with these 5 books that I'm going to mention, those were the feelings I got. So let's get right into the books. The first book I want to talk about is Blade of Secrets by Trisha Levenseller. This is a YA fantasy romance book. In here you follow Ziva. Ziva is a blacksmith. She's a bladesmith really. She creates weapons. However, she has a magical ability that she's able to endow these magical weapons with magical abilities. So one day she's commissioned by a warlord to create basically a sword that will subjugate anyone underneath him, and she's not down with that. She's not down with that. She does make the sword, but she's so scared of it that she enlists the help of a young boy that she knows of to hide the sword and run away. Ziva in here has terrible social anxiety, so she's always hiding in her forge and she doesn't really talk to anybody, specifically the boy that she's trying to help because she had a crush on him, and she gets terrible anxiety even talking to him. In this book, there are moments of panic attacks, which were really hard for me to read when I read this because I was having my own panic attacks during that time. So it just, again, it had that feeling of being real, very real to me. So for that reason, I don't know that I would read this when you're like currently struggling with your anxiety, if you have anxiety like I do. However, how she handles it and how the people around her handle it. This was honestly the first book I read that had some pretty visible anxiety rep in the book, and I just thought it was really well done. The next book I want to talk to you about is The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. This is an adult pirate fantasy romance with also some Vikings in it. In this, you are following Eric Bloodsinger, who is the king of the Ever, and he's out for vengeance against Livia, who is the female main character's dad. Her dad imprisoned him for years and he wants vengeance, and he takes that vengeance by capturing Livia. He takes Livia back to his kingdom. It's a very much an enemies to lovers story. In this, Livia is the one with anxiety. She has panic attacks, and there is one special quote in here that I really love. I think it's actually part of the second book, but in this, you really see that Eric is one that's able to calm Livia in moments of panic and moments of anxiety. And there is one quote where he's trying to get to Livia and he says, "I need to get to her to remind her to breathe." And that hit me so much because I know in moments of anxiety for me, that's one of the things that sometimes we forget to breathe. We really do, or it feels like it's forced. Like breathing is a very natural mechanical thing your body does on its own. You don't have to think about it, you just do it. However, sometimes in moments of anxiety, it feels like you forgot how to breathe. And when Eric said that, I was like it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. And you just see like the more comfortable she is with Eric, the less anxiety she has because she's feeling more comfortable with herself around him. And I love that. I love all the rep in here around it, and it's such a great book regardless of that, and I just love it so much. It's one of my favorites, and I will never forget some of those quotes because of that. And then we have a book called The Savage Wild by Roxy Noir. This wasn't my favorite book overall. Like, I think I ended up giving it 3 stars. However, the anxiety rep in here, super good. Really loved it. You're following Imogen, who she's kind of running away a little bit, and she boards a plane, of course, riddled with anxiety about flying to begin with. She really is one of those that is fearful of everything, which we tend to be. Everything's gonna kill us, so of course we're gonna be fearful of it. Of course, what happens is the plane crashes in this snowy wilderness in the middle of nowhere, and she crashes with this man that she used to have a relationship with several years ago. And now they have to survive together. What I loved about this book is that she is forced to kind of deal with her anxiety because she can't just sit there. She can't fall apart. She has to do it scared. And that was a lot of things with me too. Driving was one of my big things when I was in the depths of my anxiety, that I really can't not drive where I live. I don't really have any other option to, so I had to do it scared. I had to kind of slowly build up my confidence again by taking little chunks of driving, like literally going around the block with somebody, and then then slowly another block, and then another block, and I would just slowly build my confidence up. Now I'm about ready to drive 7 hours away again in a couple of months, and I'm pretty sure I could do it. But it took a long time. It took like 4 years to get up to that again. However, in this book, she has to deal with all of her fears right away, and she just has to do it scared. I don't quite recommend doing that if you can. However, she has to. She's forced to. So I really loved her resilience in this, and also the way Wilder, I think his name is, helps her along through it. He really kind of like pushes her to just take one step and, just go a little bit further. And I really enjoyed that about this book. Another book with really great anxiety rep is Swift and Saddled. This is by Lila Sage. This wasn't, again, my favorite book, but just because it's contemporary, and again, it was a little too real. It was a little too real. However, what I liked about this was the other side of anxiety. So in this one, the male main character is the one with anxiety. However, once you see him, you show him in a good place. He's been dealing with his anxiety. He's been treating it through therapy, through other means, and he's really been working on himself for a long time. That doesn't mean he doesn't still have moments of anxiety, but he knows where it's coming from and how to handle it. And he's very open about therapy. This is a very pro-therapy book. And I really enjoyed that specifically because it was from the male main character's view. I know a lot of men that I know of are hesitant to do therapy because they don't really think anything's wrong with them. And you know what? There doesn't necessarily have to be anything wrong with you to just try to talk out what's happening to you. It just was really nice to read, and I really loved that about this book. Again, it was contemporary, so it felt a little too real for me, so that's why I didn't give it 5 stars. But that had nothing to do with the rep. You know what I mean? The rep in this, it was fantastic. And the last book I want to talk about is Fear the Flames. This is another adult fantasy romance following a lost princess trying to get her dragons back, basically. And in this book, the lost princess has moments of panic attacks. She has moments of anxiety, and she deals with that alone a lot of the times, which we tend to do that sometimes. But how she deals with that is really just stepping aside, taking a moment, breathing for one. I'm gonna tell you, it sounds so stupid when somebody tells you to breathe, but it truly is something that you have to remind yourself to do, and you have to do it in a way where you're not hyperventilating. It's just the oddest thing. So whenever these scenes came up where she's literally just going, it's like I really enjoyed those scenes in this book, especially when there are high stakes in this book. There are things in here that are going to make you anxious because, you're gonna die. There's very high stakes in these books. And to think that this girl is not gonna have moments of anxiety is crazy to me. And so when they just show that in a book, it makes these characters feel more human. You know what I mean? It really humanizes these characters for me. and I think it's very, very well represented. So there you go. Those are 5 books that I read recently that have a really great anxiety rep in it. Let me know if you read a book recently with anxiety rep in it. I really do love reading these books. Just sometimes, you know, they trigger me. I definitely don't want that to happen, but I think lately I'm in a good place with my own anxiety that I can handle it. So I want to read more of them. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye!